Hi, this is Brandon from Watches on You. Today, I'm going to talk about something I'm extremely excited about. This has been a long-term project of mine, and obviously, from what you can see now on screen, it relates to the Höglund and Sons brand, which is, of course, my watch company. And in this video, I want to announce my second model, and this comes as sort of a result of a ton of requests from different people as it relates to my first model, the Höglund and Sons Mark I chronograph, which was a mecha quartz chronograph. It's one of the coolest movements in any chronograph watch, in my opinion, because again, it combines the the visual aspects of a mechanical movement, but then the reliability and affordability of a quartz movement. So I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check that out if you're kind of unfamiliar about the brand. But yeah, I'm still selling those. This is just going to kind of complement that and target a little bit of a different market. So when I said earlier that a lot of people were kind of sending me requests as it relates to the Höglund and Sons brand, what I meant by that is that a lot of people wanted a fully mechanical version of the Mark I chronograph, and that's what I've created here. Now there are some other changes besides the movement that I really want to talk about and show you, but again, this is it came about as a result of the requests of people who really like the design of the Mark I, but again, they wanted a mechanical version of that. So I'll open it up. One thing I've changed here, obviously, is the box. On the previous model, it came in this kind of black box that had kind of a clamshell design. This comes in a very nice cylindrical, modern bamboo box, which of course is emblazoned with the Höglund and Sons name on the front. It's laser engraved. It's not just like stamped on there like you see from some other watch brands. So it is a really high quality box. And again, I wanted people to be able to use it for maybe some of their other watches, not just the Mark I chronograph. So you kind of get that with the watch as well. But I'll open this up, and it's extremely strong, being bamboo. But without further ado, I'll show you the watch now. So here's the watch. As you can see, the overall appearance with the bicompact design is very similar to that of the Mark I chronograph, but there is one difference. So on the Mark I chronograph, at the 3 o'clock subdial, you have a 24-hour counter. This has a 30-minute counter, and then in the Mark I chronograph, you had a minute counter on the 9 o'clock subdial. This, of course, has the running seconds from that mechanical movement. You can see it's got a smooth seconds hand. I'll bring the watch a little bit closer here. I'll take it out of the case so you can kind of get a better look at it. But the watch retains many of the same kind of case aspects of the Mark I chronograph, given that it has a 40 millimeter diameter. I just think that that's the optimal chronograph diameter for a watch. But moving on to other aspects about the dial itself, one thing I was really excited to include on this is a pulsations scale, which of course you can use to find the heart rate, or really a rate of anything over a minute. So you can see it runs from 60 there, it's a 30 pulsations scale. So you count 30 times of whatever you're doing. You start the chronograph, count 30 of whatever you're measuring, so heartbeats or something like that, and then you stop the chronograph once you've counted the 30, and then that'll give you the per minute rate of those things. So you can see that, and it has that like red pulsations text there at around 1 o'clock, kind of from 12 to 1 o'clock. And I wanted to have the red just because it kind of complements that seconds hand there. And I think it looks very, very cool. Again, the pulsations, it actually has a special meaning for me because I'm going to medical school next year, so I wanted to have something kind of medically related. And again, it's kind of a funky feature you don't see on a lot of watches. So the last kind of dial improvement with this watch are the hands. So I improved the lume on the hands by kind of making the lume wider. Also, on the previous model, the hands were black, and now they're polished silver, as you can see. So it's a little bit more visible, and the lume works better than on the Mark I, so that's an improvement you get with that. But now we'll flip it over to the kind of party piece of the watch, and that's, of course, the column wheel hand wound mechanical movement. It's a the movement is a SEAGULL ST1901, and that's a very reliable movement. It has kind of military pedigree with it, and obviously it looks very, very nice. You have the Côte de Genève there, and you can see the column wheel. I'll point that out on camera here, and that's right here at the tip of my finger. So when I start the chronograph, I want to make sure I have it in the right direction. When you start the chronograph, you can see the column wheel will move around. So the chronograph is running, as you can see. And then when you stop the chronograph, you can see everything change again. And reset, of course, it will flick back with that little part there. And as you can see, it reset perfectly back. I'll do another demonstration of the chronograph just looking at the front side now. But as you can see, it's got that smooth seconds hand, just like the Mark I actually. And that was kind of my, the coolest thing about that watch, in my opinion, was the fact that it looks like it's a mechanical watch. It feels like a mechanical watch, but it's as accurate as a quartz. So that's kind of cool. But again, this gives you that other perspective where you can see everything working from the backside, because obviously a quartz movement isn't as interesting, although actually the Mecha Quartz has a mechanical module to it for the chronograph. You just couldn't see it on the back of the movement, which is why I had that like time zone conversion scale instead of a clear case back. But without further ado, I'll reset this chronograph. You can see I stopped it. And the reset is actually really smooth on these hands. It feels a little bit different than a Valjoux 7750 or a Mecha Quartz for that matter, which is kind of like a thud. It's a little bit smoother than that, but I'll let you guys appreciate the movement. You can see the jewels, everything in there. And on the case back, you can also see it detailed. This has a 50-meter water resistance. Each of the watches is individually tested to that depth. But again, you don't want to use the chronograph underwater. That's kind of a standard thing, especially with these type of pushers. So going over just some of the measurements again, you have a 40 millimeter diameter, and then the strap width or lug width is 20 millimeters. I kept those sizes just because they're very standardized, so you can customize the straps. I've seen a lot of people online posting different straps with their watches, and in the future I probably will be changing the straps that this watch is available with. Right now it's just the brown, but I think that a lot of people liked kind of black racing straps with this, so that's something that I'd like to add going forward. And yeah, I'm really excited to grow this brand. I'll do a wrist shot here just to show you what the watch looks like. And just like the Mark I chronograph, I just want to add, this watch is extremely affordable. It's a fully mechanical watch. Again, it is hand wound, not automatic. I could have done an automatic version. I chose not to, just because I don't think it's as interesting from the backside. You can't really see everything as easy. But that's really why I went with the hand wound version. But again, this watch is very affordable. It's $399. But since I just put this online, I'll give you 13% off, which is around 50 bucks. I will leave a link in the description to both this watch and the Mark I chronograph if you haven't seen that. I'll also link the review of the Mark I chronograph in case you're just kind of unfamiliar of the story behind it. But again, it started on Kickstarter with the Mark I. That was successful. I continue to sell those. Again, we're trying to kind of expand our market here. And with this, you get more of a high-end kind of mechanical feel. And I'm really excited to see what people think about this. I think it turned out awesome. It looks a lot more expensive in real life than it does both on camera and for the price. Like, I'm not just saying that because I want to sell it, but it actually does. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, give it a try, and I'm excited to see what people think. Thanks for watching this video, and yeah, thank you.